Hi.
Hi there.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Did you sit out today?
Yesterday,
Oh, it was
I
yesterday.
did.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was good.
Good.
Yeah, it was a good learning experience.
That's
So,
awesome. Now, did you sit out depot or court?
court.
Okay. Very
Yeah, it was actually my first time sitting out in court,
oh,
so
that's
different, but
yeah,
it was good.
good. It's interesting because Donna she's had two jobs this week, depot, and she said so far she likes depot better than court. And I said, well, I loved depots too. I don't know, just something about going to a different location every day, different people, it was just exciting to always know I was going somewhere different. So,
Yeah.
but, oh, okay. So I shared this with Nora earlier. So, and Chelsea said she was going to try to come in. She wasn't sure if she was going to make it or not, but for the live class, but she shared with me and she said I could tell you that after that class last week when you were talking about being positive and journaling, and so she took a 200 test and she only missed two, and she said I know it.
No way.
Yeah, so she's in qualifying now, and she said I know it's because I was positive, and she started
That
to
is
journal. I know.
awesome.
So you helped someone, Catherine.
Oh my gosh, I told her, I'm like, I guarantee it.
She did. She's like, and not only did I pass, I only missed two.
That gives me chills. That is
Me
so
too.
exciting.
I know. I know.
Oh man, how
I know.
awesome.
Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing. That encourages me so much
Yeah,
too, just to
she
keep
said,
keep positive. So
yep. That's what she said. She's like, I just went to school and I was like, okay, I'm not going to let the negative thoughts come in my head. And sure enough, she passed.
that is so awesome. I'm so happy for her.
I
That's
am too.
great.
So now all she has to do is she's getting her hours next week, and then where she's going to, get all of her hours that she has to get, and then she'll be in qualifying. So pretty exciting. So she just,
Awesome.
yeah, and she said I could share that with you. So thank you for sharing
Cool.
your advice there. Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
So all
that's
right.
so great.
Well, and I did share that with Nora earlier. I even shared it with the lower speeds too, because it just goes to show it's crazy how just the thought process, like being, just being determined and not letting the negative thoughts in. It's huge. It's just, your mental state is so much a part of this. So anyways, but all right, so we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'll go ahead and mute everyone. All right. Hi, Nora. Here we go. Ready? Value, yes, later, express, November, play, months, took, cold, together, job, when, woman, terms, secretary, members, living, hold, seen, visit, writer, bit, deal, anxious, college, consider, notice, attached, condition, eat, dearest, sales, children, girls, unless, certain, plan, yourself, accomplice, majority, adjourned, litigious, mandatory, apparently, appropriate, mirror, negative, compliance, consistent, nuclear, participated, contamination, contempt, paternity, contingency, penalty, dangerous, potentially, decision, premiums, deprivation, prevailing, discretion, prohibited, electric, prosecuting, emergency, punishment, enhance, residence, ensnare, quasi, respondent, entrapment, restructured, hazards, safeguard, identical, incarcerated, statutes, institute, subsequent, intentional, technician, justifying, technology, linoleum, virtually. All right, so I've got some names and addresses. Here we go. Sandra R. Adams, ADAMS, 378 Princess Street, Orlando, Florida, 32803. Benjamin H. Jones, Jones, 2292 Wilton Street, Omaha, Nebraska, 68131. Gary L. Wright, WRIGHT, 921 Essex Avenue, Springfield, Massachusetts, 01104. Cynthia R. Hardy, HARDY, 723 Yakima Street, Tacoma, Washington, 98402. Stephen G. Guthrie, GUTHREY, 1112 Hernan Avenue, Santa Fe, New Mexico, 57324. Darcy I. Rhodes, RHODES, 457 Silver Creek Road, Bellevue, Ohio, 44003. Timothy B. Hearns, HEARNS, 6 Southampton Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60636. Curtis J. Fox, FOX, 1524 Jane Street West, North Falls, Nevada, 69101. Caitlin M. Mowers, MOWERS, 7898 Grand Avenue, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45227. Mark D. Kwan, QUAN, 1309 Clark Way, Independence, Missouri, 64050. Todd H. Hogan, HOGAN, 1886 Tioga Avenue, Erie, Pennsylvania, 16501. Sally C. Hinder, HINDER, 1800 4th Street, Salt Lake City, Utah, 84101. Christine A. Hamilton, HAMILTON, 1512 Bridgewater Lane, Scottsdale, Arizona, 85001. Lisa T. Lane, LANE, 210 West Ballard Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19808. William S. Neese, NEESE, 211 Turane Street, Birmingham, Alabama, 35201. Okay. Now I've got some words that end with NK. So we don't have a conflict with the NG word, so we have to flag it. Things like bank versus bang. So I'm going to give you the phrases first and then the sentences. Okay, here we go. A bank, a crank, a link, the sink, the blank, the fink, the brink, the rank, the plank, to slink, the rink, to clank, the tank, to shrink, the ink, to wink, to honk, to drink. Where is the junk? The tank was empty. Who robbed the bank? I spilled the ink. Use wide planks. Fill up the tank. Honk your horn. Close your trunk. Raise the anchor. He drives a tanker. He's a lanky youth. Get me a drink. Put it in the sink. He's an old crank. What is the link? Did you ink the press? He drank on the job. The gun fired blanks. He said it was a prank. Don't pull rank on me. Being drunk is no defense. The ink was hardly dry. That's a new wrinkle. Hunt for the missing link. The witness wore pink. It was a punk kid. The rink is closed. He walked the plank. You'll sink or swim. It's a honky tonk. My uncle testified. It was a bank fraud. It was a rank affair. He testified frankly. The witness had spunk. My uncle is a banker. What rank do you hold? Meet at the skating rink. It looks as if he's sunk. He plunked it down. It's a ranking privilege. It created a stink. Use ink for the signature. He winks at violations. It sank out of sight. Okay. All right, so I've got some words here. We're going to start off with words that start with co, okay? Here we go. Co-author, co-architect, cooperate, cooperation, coordinate, coordination, co-chairman, co-chairperson, co-partner, co-pilot, co-counsel, co-defendant, co-president, co-ed, co-sign, co-respondent, co-signer, co-efficient, co-education, coexist, coexistence, cohabitation, co-worker, co-variant. Now, these words start with DE. Here we go. Deactivate, debar, debase, debrief, debug, debugged, decapitate, decipher, declaim, decode, decoder, decompose, decontrol, deface, defame, defile, deflect, deflection, deflower, defoliate, deform, defraud, defray, defrost, defrosts, degrade, dehumidify, dehydrate, demoralize, deplane, deployment, deportation, depress, derail, deregulate, deregulation, desegregate, desegregation, destructive, dethrone, detour, detoxification, detoxify. Now these are disability, disable, disadvantage, disaffirm, disagree, disagreement, disallow, disappear, disapproval, disapprove, disarm, disassemble, disassociate, disavow, disband, disbelief, disclaim, disclaimer, discolor, discomfort, disconnect, discontent, discontinue, discredit, disembark, disenfranchise, disengage, disharmony, dishonest, dishonor, disinfect, disinherit, disinterested, dislike, dislocate, disloyal, disobedient, disobey, disorder, disorganized, disoriented, disown, displease, disprove, disqualify, disregard, disrepair, disrespect, dissatisfy, dissimilar, distaste, distrust. And then the last set is N words, E-N. Enable, enact, enacted, encase, encircle, encircled, enclose, encode, encodes, encrust, endanger, endear, endure, enfold, enforce, engage, engaged, enjoin, enjoy, enlarge, enlist, enliven, enrapture, enrich, enriching, enslave, ensnare, entangle, enthrone, entitle, entomb, entrance, entrap, entrenched, entrust, entrusted, envision. So we're going to stop there, but there is more. So Friday we'll go over the IN words, the X words, the IR, INT, mono words, and miss words. Okay. All right. Now let's do some medical words. Here we go. Ready? Patient, intractable, hydrochloride, codeine, treatment, splatter, IV, reproductive, remission, diaphragm, obstetrician, fracture, prenatal, prognosis, immovable, sigmoid, thermometer, phlebotomy, osteoarthritis, hypochondriac, myocardium, subcutaneous, dermatitis, encephalitis or encephalitis, schizophrenia, headache, gingivitis, ophthalmology, hypoglossal, and pectoral. All right. Move right into literary now. Okay, I read this to the mid speeds. I have to read it to you guys. If you did watch it, it's not that long, but it's so interesting. This is called The Good Wife's Guide. This is actually an article that was in Housekeeping, May of 1955. So it's a wife's guide to being a good wife. And this is real. This was in the actual Housekeeping magazine. All right, here we go. Have dinner ready. Plan ahead, even the night before, to have a delicious meal ready on time for his return. This is a way of letting him know that you have been thinking about him and are concerned about his needs. Most men are hungry when they get home, and the prospect of a good meal is part of the warm welcome needed. Number 2, prepare yourself. Take 15 minutes to rest so you'll be refreshed when he arrives. Touch up your makeup, put a ribbon in your hair, and be fresh looking. He has just been with a lot of work-weary people. Number 3, be a little gay and a little more interesting for him. His boring day may need a lift, and one of your duties is to provide it. Number 4, clear away the clutter. Make one last trip through the main part of the house, and just before your husband arrives, run a dust cloth over the tables. Number 5, during the cooler months of the year, you should prepare and light a fire for him to unwind by. Your husband will feel he has reached a haven of rest and order, and it will give you a lift too. After all, catering to his comfort will provide you with immense personal satisfaction. Number 6, minimize all noise. At the time of his arrival, eliminate all noise of the washer, dryer, or vacuum. Encourage the children to be quiet. Number 7, be happy to see him. Number 8, greet him with a warm smile and show sincerity in your desire to please him. Number 9, listen to him. You may have a dozen important things to tell him, but the moment of his arrival is not the time. Let him talk first. Remember, his topics of conversation are more important than yours. Number 10, don't greet him with complaints and problems. Number 11, don't complain if he's late for dinner or even if he stays out all night. Count this as minor compared to what he might have gone through at work. Number 12, make him comfortable. Have him lean back in a comfortable chair or lie him down in the bedroom. Have a cool or warm drink ready for him. Number 13, arrange his pillow and offer to take off his shoes. Speak in a low, soothing, and pleasant voice. Number 14, don't ask him questions about his actions or question his judgment or integrity. Remember, he is the master of the house, and as such will always exercise his will with fairness and truthfulness. You have no right to question him. Number 15, a good wife always knows her place. I just laugh at that one where it says, don't complain if he's late for dinner or even if he stays out all night. Oh, boy, have things changed, huh? All right. I'm going to read one more literary before we get on to jury charge. This is called When Critters Go Bad. How Insurance Treats Damage from Various Varmints. All right. I'm just dating this. All right. Here we go. Rodents, vermin, insects, wildlife. You know they're out there, whether you live in a city, suburb, or rural area. Most of the time, you peacefully coexist with them, but sometimes they invade your home or your car and do a lot of damage. You don't worry about it though, because your auto or homeowner's insurance will cover those losses, right? Well, not always. Most insurers follow guidelines that govern when and how they cover the damage when critters are involved in a claim. Here are some common scenarios. Scenario number 1. You park your car outdoors during a cold snap. A group of squirrels, looking for a warm spot to camp out, crawls under the hood and chews through the wires. The squirrels are gone by the time you get in the car the next morning, but because of their handiwork, the engine won't start. Is it covered? In a word, yes. Auto insurance almost always covers damage done to your vehicle by an animal. That's because you can't do much to prevent these kinds of situations. Maintenance won't keep those squirrels away, nor will it stop a flock of angry birds from landing on your car and pecking dents into the roof, for instance. It's considered a comprehensive loss, one that's not the result of a collision, so as long as you carry comprehensive coverage, your insurer should pay for the repairs. Scenario number 2. Although a major termite infestation has been building for a couple of years, you're just now discovering it because you failed to keep up with regular inspections. Now you'll not only need to fumigate your house, but you'll also have to repair the damage the pests have done to your windows, wood frames. Is it covered? Probably not. Most homeowners' policies exclude damage that is caused by insects and other animals. In other words, if basic home maintenance could have prevented the damage, your insurer is unlikely to pay for any losses. That's why it's smart to have a pest control firm inspect your home annually. Many will now guarantee their work for a year. Scenario number 3. A family of rats takes up residence in your attic and gets to work on a plumbing line. When they finally manage to gnaw through it, the pipe bursts and the water damages the attic as well as the flooring of your master bedroom below. Is it covered? Yes and no. Most homeowners' policies cover sudden and accidental losses to your dwelling that result from animal infestations. In this case, that would include the water damage in your attic and bedroom, but it would not include repairs to the damaged pipe. A little home maintenance can help you avoid this type of scenario too. If you periodically check to make sure the grates or screens blocking entrance to your home's crawl spaces are in good order, critters will have a much harder time gaining access in the first place. This just happened to us probably about, well, we got like a cold spell, maybe a month and a half. No, well, it was right after Christmas. And my husband took my car to work and he parked by these bushes and he came out after that day and my car wouldn't start. So he had to have it towed, and it's a newer car. It's like a year old. So he took it to the dealership and then they called him and said, a rodent got in there and chewed the wires, and he didn't believe him. And he went down and they showed him like the evidence. They're like, look, there's droppings here, and we don't have those in our garage. So it had to be at his work. So it's just crazy. And they did pay for it. It was the car insurance, but not the warranty for the car. So it's just kind of funny that just happened to us. It never happened to us before. And they told him, don't park by bushes because they do that. So lesson learned, All right, I'm going to read you a poem. It's not very long. It's called The Crocodile's Toothache. So I'm going to read this at 200. Here we go. The crocodile went to the dentist and sat down in the chair. And the dentist said, now tell me, sir, why does it hurt and where? And the crocodile said, I'll tell you the truth. I have a terrible ache in my tooth. And he opened his jaws so wide, that the dentist, he climbed right inside. And the dentist laughed. Oh, isn't this fun? As he pulled the teeth out one by one. And the crocodile cried, you're hurting me so. Please put down your pliers and let me go. But the dentist just laughed with a ho, ho, ho. And he said, I still have 12 to go. Oops, that's the wrong one, I confess. But what's one crocodile's tooth, more or less? Then suddenly the jaws went snap, and the dentist was gone right off the map. And where he went, one could only guess, to north or south or east or west. He left no forwarding address, but what's one dentist, more or less? All right. Let's do some jury charge. All right, here we go. And the subject is admission of evidence. And I'm going to start this at 200. I'll read this at 200. Okay, here we go. Prosecutions for conspiracy present difficulties and temptations familiar to anyone with experience as a federal prosecutor. The difficulties derive from observance of these rules governing evidence admissible against some, but not all, defendants in a criminal case. The temptations derive from the advantages of prosecuting in one trial, two or more persons collaborating in a criminal enterprise. One of the most recurring of the difficulties pertains to incriminating declarations by one or more of the defendants that are not admissible against others. The dilemma is usually resolved by admitting such evidence against the declarant, by cautioning the jury against its use in determining the guilt of the others. The fact of the matter is that too often such admonition against misuse is intrinsically ineffective, in that the effect of such a non-admissible declaration cannot be wiped from the brains of the jurors. The admonition, therefore, becomes a futile collocation of the words and fails of its purpose as a legal protection to defendants against whom such a declaration should not tell. While enforcing the rule of admitting the declaration solely against a declarant and admonishing the jury not to consider it against other defendants, Judge Hand, in a series of cases, has recognized the psychological feat that this solution of the dilemma demands of the juries. He thus stated the problem, quote, in effect, however, the rule probably furthers rather than impedes the search for truth, and this perhaps excuses the device which satisfies form while it violates substance. That is the recommendation to the jury of a mental gymnastic which is beyond not only their powers, but anybody else's, end quote. It may well be that where such a declaration only charged with the admitted declaration, the rule enforced by the court in this case does too little harm not to leave its application to the discretion of the trial judge. But where the conspirator's statement is so damning to another against whom it is inadmissible, as is true in this case, the difficulty of introducing it against the declarant without inevitable harm to a co-conspirator, the petitioner in this case, is no justification for causing such harm. The government should not have the windfall of having the jury be influenced by evidence against a defendant, which as a matter of law, they should not consider, but which they cannot put out of their minds. After all, the prosecution could use the confession against the confessor and at the same time avoid such weighty unfairness against a defendant who cannot be charged with the declaration by not trying all the co-conspirators in a single trial. It is no answer to suggest that here the petitioner defendant's guilt is amply demonstrated by the uninfected testimony against him. That is the best of reasons for him trying him freed from the inevitable unfairness of being affected by testimony not admissible against him. In any event, it is not for an appellate tribunal to know how the jury's mind would have operated if powerfully improper evidence had not in fact or in effect been put in the scale against the petitioner. Okay. Moving into Q&A. All right. Grab this. Sorry about that. I had the medium speeds instead of the high speeds Q&A pulled. All right, so this is going to be defense. It's a court case, so our court will come in as well as plaintiff. All right, here we go. I'm going to start this at 180, but I am going to work my way up to 225. Okay, here we go. And would she ever have them pee directly into the jar? You mean pour it right into the jar? Would she ever have the kids pee? No, no. Pee right into the jar? No. So it was always in the pot, and then she would transfer it into the jar? I have no further questions, Your Honor. I need a moment to contemplate, counsel. I'm not sure if I have a question or not. Does the court want to take a brief recess? No, I just need one moment, 1 or 2 at the most. When you saw Lamont and Jesse pee in the pot, were you in the bathroom at the same time? I would be in front of the door. Was the door open or closed? Open. Were you looking and watching? Yes. Was your mother in there also? Yes. Did your mother help the children wipe with toilet paper? Yes. Was that before or after or both times when the children urinated? What do you mean? Did she help them wipe themselves after they urinated? Yes. Did she help them wipe before they urinated? After. After only. Okay. Was Lamont still in the bathroom when you saw your mother pour the pee into the jar? No, he had to leave, go outside. And how about Jessie? She probably sat there with you. She probably would sit there with you. I don't really remember. And you were standing at the door all of those times? Not all of the times, no. Where were you on all of the times? Let's start with Lamont. The first time you saw Lamont. Okay, where were you? In front of the door. The first time? Uh-huh. And the second time? The second time I probably passed by and saw it, but I wasn't exactly right there. And the third time? Same thing. Same as which? The second one. Passed by the door? Yes. You said there were 3 or 4 times? Uh-huh. Do you recall a 4th time specifically? What do you mean? Well, you said you saw Lamont pee for your mother 3 or 4 times. You just described 3 times. Was there a 4th time that you specifically remember? No, but you specifically remember the first time you were in front of the same door? Yes, and you specifically recall by the second and third times that you were just passing by? Yes, the door. So there may have been a 4th time. You just don't recall for sure? Yes. And now as to Jessie, the first time, where were you? In there. And the second time? I probably was using the bathroom while she was in there. Now you say probably. Do you know for sure? Yes. So why do you say probably? Because because what? I'm probably not for sure. Okay, but you feel that you were using the bathroom at the same time Jessie was peeing, correct? Yes. And that's the time your mother, did you actually then see your mother pour the urine? Yes. No. Into the container? How do you know your mother did that? Well, because I saw it with the other kids, but not with Jessie. Okay, you've never seen your mother pour Jessie's pee from the pot to the container? No. Is that correct? That's correct. So you've only seen it with regard to Lamont? Yes. Is that right? Your Honor, I would object. It misstates the evidence. Well, she's changed her mind. Ms. Soren, any redirect? Yes. Okay, Leah, did you ever see your mom pour the pee of any other kids into the jar? Talking about my little cousins? Anyone? No, only my brother and sisters, not my cousins. Now, let's be clear. You stated you saw your mom pour Lamont's pee, yes, into the jar, but I've never seen her do my little cousins. Did you ever see your mom pour Keenan's pee into the jar? No. Did you ever see your mom pour Jessie's pee into the jar? Not all the time, but did you ever see it? Yes, probably like one time. Are you sure about that? Yes. You just answered my question and you said you never did. You said you only saw Lamont pee in the pot and your mother pour his. I said I saw it one time on Jesse's. That's when you were in the room? That's when I was in, yes. And you actually saw her pour the pee from Jesse's pee. You actually saw her take Jesse's urine from the pot and pour it into the container? Yes, the one time. I need to make a note then. Go ahead, Ms. Soren. These times, these jars you saw your mom pour the pee into, were they clear jars? Yes. Are you a little nervous today, Leah? I'm getting tired. I'm ready to go home. How many hours did you sleep last night? I actually went to bed at 8 o'clock. Why are you tired? I'm getting tired of this. I'm ready to go home. The record should reflect she's starting to cry. Why are you starting to cry? Let's give her a moment. She seems to have composed herself. Why do you think you're starting to cry? I'm getting tired of this. Why are you tired of this? Why should I don't want to come. I don't want to live with her. That's the point of it. Do you not like your mother? I love my mother. I just don't like the things she's done to me or my brother or sister. Nobody's here to make a decision that you should go back to your mother's. That's not up for the decision. You are staying with your aunt. Your aunt is going to be adopting you. Do you know that? I know that. Are you angry that you have to be here? Yes. Okay, counsel. Would you rather not have said these things that your mom has said? The molesting thing is a lie. No, I'm talking about, no, wait a minute. What molesting thing? I read the paper that he gave me right here. It says something about molesting. What do you think it said? That I sucked his penis or something like that. Is that a lie? That is a lie. Who made that statement? What do you mean? What statement are you talking about? On the paper. Tell me what it says. It said I pulled out and sucked his penis. Who said you did that? No, that's what my mom told my auntie. My auntie told me. Your Honor, if I could interject, I think she's referring to the 342 petition that we're not dealing with yet. And Your Honor, I ask that all the testimony be stricken. It's not relevant to today's portions. Not granted. Okay, Leah, just a minute. I'm going to ask a few more questions. Do you know if Lamont said he sucked his penis? Yes, that's what my mother said. And you're saying that it is not true? And counsel, this is for the witness's credibility, and I am now addressing, I'm not going to address by any evidence as to whether or not the 342 might be true or not. It's simply all for the credibility. All right? I won't ask any more questions. Go ahead, Ms. Soren. Okay, Leah, when you said you love your mom, but you don't like the things she's done, are you referring to her use of drugs? Yes, and not buying me clothes and supplies for school. Are you also upset about the fact that she has kicked you before in the past? Yes. Are you also upset about the fact of how she has hit your brothers and sister? Yes. And Leah, despite the fact that these things hurt you, are you stating today that what you've testified to is the truth? Yes. No further questions. Okay, counsel. Yes, thank you, Your Honor. When you testified that you saw these incidents about the urine, wouldn't you have been in school? Yes, but at the time I get out of school, she would be ready to go to the doctor. What time was that? What do you mean? What time I got out of school? Yes, I was going to Washington at the time, so I think it was like around 2 or 2 something. I'm not for sure. You would arrive home a little after 2 o'clock or 2:25. So all these incidents would occur after, say, 2:30 or so? Uh-huh. In the afternoon? Yes. So your mother would gather the pee, put it in her pocket? Yes. And leave and go to the doctor and leave after 2:30? Yes. Are you visiting with your mom? What? Objection, Your Honor, relevance. Overruled. What was the answer? I don't remember. Do you visit with your mother? Do I visit? No. When was the last time you visited with your mother? Your Honor, I would object again. We've already goes to bias. The last time I saw my mother, the last time she done my auntie's hair, when was that? I think like 2 months ago. And counsel, I think earlier I had said that I overruled that objection because I said it may go to credibility, and I should have used the word bias, not credibility. Go ahead, Ms. Kareen. No further questions. Just one more. Okay. Since you have moved to your auntie's house, have you seen your mother use drugs? No. Objection, Your Honor. Lack of foundation. Overruled. She would know whether or not she's seen it or not. Do you ever have contact with your brother and sisters? No. When was the last time you spoke with them or saw them? I saw them one time at a park. Your Honor, I would object as to this line of questioning. It is not relevant. Now, this might be a problem. Go ahead. This might be a problem, Ms. Werner. I don't have these 3 children before me. I was going to ask if they had seen anything because they have more contact with the mother. Objection sustained. Nothing further. Ms. Soren, nothing further. Ms. Kareen, nothing. Okay, Leah, thank you for coming to court. You are now excused as a witness. You can go home. Okay, we are now going to recess. All right, so let's switch transcripts. All right. This one is the one from First American, so it's a little bit more on the challenging side. All right, and this is going to also be defense. All right, here we go. I see. All right, down on the bottom, down toward the bottom, it says DESC, pages 6, 7, 8. That would represent the legal description to be used. As found on page 6, 7, and 8? Yes. Of the same packet? Yes. All right, did you line out the word endorsements? Yes. Why did you line out the word endorsements? There was no request to issue any. What is the significance of a request to issue any endorsements? Well, anything that we would do, we could do based on the instructions from the requesting party. Okay, I don't understand what an endorsement means. Request to issue means. That's what I want you to tell me. I'm reluctant to have this witness provide expert testimony, but if he had requested for the endorsement, what would he have asked for? An endorsement would be something that we would issue against or to bolster an item in our report. Okay, like a special insuring paragraph or guaranteeing paragraph, that kind of a thing? Yes. Did you line out accept prepaid items? Yes, I did. Why did you do that? There was nothing that was prepaid at the time of the report, and there was no other exceptions to the title. You then signed it? Yes, I did. Okay, it was typed by Bayless, and the date is 1/21/11. Is that correct? That is what it is referenced to. That is what it is referenced to, and compared to someone's signature or instrument? Yes. Okay, and who is that? I have no idea. Does that signify that someone compared the actual binder to items 1 through 10? Yes, it does. Okay, and there is a little circle above Bayless. Is that R2? It appears to be. Do you know what that means? No, I don't. Based on the document, Mr. Powers, am I correct in understanding that the request for the report was opened on December 9 and the actual report was typed 8 days later? It was opened on December 9 and it was typed on, right, December 17 and compared on December 18. Is that correct? Yes, it is. Now that's 8 days. I would like you to tell me, based upon your experience, do you know how many working days that was? Let's find out the working days. I'm showing the witness a calendar of 2010, and my calendar shows that in December 2010, the 9th was a Tuesday and the 17th was a Wednesday. So there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 6 working days. Okay, 6 working days. Sounds good. Is that an unusually short amount of time to complete a title report? Yes, it is. Is there a normal turnaround time or normal time for completing a report? Well, anywhere from 3 to infinity per se, depending on the complexity of the search. 3 days to infinity? We hope to have them out at a minimum of 3 days. Was the search that had to be done for this report extraordinarily complex or average or easy? Well, it wasn't complex, but a lot of different searching areas had to be considered. Okay, in your role as a title officer, would you have read or reviewed each of the items shown in the second column? Yes. Would those documents have appraised you of the fact that Jane Landers had owned the property, say, in the 50s, the 1950s? No. Okay, let's go to the starter. Can you look at the starter? Okay, I take it that the packet tells you nothing prior to the date of the starter. Is that correct? Yes, it goes way back. It compiles everything up to that point in time. Yes. Okay, let me see what this says. Let me see what it is. Okay, it is, no, I have one question first. Who is shown as the title owner on the date, the starter date, September 10, 2004? Oscar G. Tritt. Okay, can you spell the last name? It looks like Tritt. Okay, thank you. And others. And others, yes. Now, in conducting the search, then what was the next document that was gone to after the starter in tracing the title? As far as the next one, I don't know. It was the searcher's job. You can't tell me what the searcher looked at? No. Okay, page 18 and 19. It appears to be a grant deed, 1994. Back in 1994, showing that Jane Landers granted to Beach Coast Specialty some type of interest in the property. Is that correct? Yes. Now, page 20 is a deed of trust showing Jane Landers retained an interest in the property, a security interest, even though she had transferred it to Beach Coast. Is that correct? Yes, it is. I just want to say you are asking him the meaning of the legal effect of these documents. I will object. I don't know that he recalls what he thought then. If you are asking for, can you tell me what this document is? I think we may be better off making a copy, and we can identify them by the page number. I am reluctant to have him testify as to legal effect. We can refer him to page 22 of the packet. Do you want to ask questions about that? Yes. Did you consider the document shown on page 22 in determining who the title owner of the subject property was? Do you even remember? Not really. All right, the fact that the document is there signifies to you that you would have considered it. It would have been looked at, yes. All right, do you recall that the subject property chain of title had some documents involving water bonds, 1911 water bonds? No. I take it that you haven't reviewed this file at all since January of 2010? That is correct. Exclusive of today. Of course, yes. Did you review this to assist you in remembering the testimony today? Yes, I did. Did you review any other documents to assist you in recalling the facts for testimony today? I will represent to counsel that I made all of these available. That is to say, this stack of things which I have here on the table to the witness for the purpose of, well, I made all of those available to the witness and reviewed all of them as we have established on the record, with the exception of this. I don't believe he has any knowledge with respect to any of the others. Has it been suggested to you that the owner shown in the preliminary title report was not the correct owner of the property? I am referring to the December 9, 2010 preliminary title report. Actually, it's December. What's the date on the report? Does it say December 11? No, that's the starting date. Okay, that's the date it's affected. That's right. Has it been suggested to you that the preliminary title report effective December of 2010 showed an incorrect owner? No. You showed Jane Landers as the owner in two different capacities as the owner of the property. Is that correct? As having a possible interest. As having a possible interest. Let's see what it says here. Let me talk with Tom for just a minute. Let's go off the record. Back on the record. There seems to have been some misunderstanding because Mr. Powers understood your question to be at the time that he prepared this, not since the date. Okay, it's best to say since that date that it was prepared. Has anyone suggested to him? I will make it more clear. At the time of the preliminary title report, had anyone said anything that suggested to you that the owner shown in your preliminary title report was not the correct owner of the property? I am sorry, can you go one more time? The preliminary title report shows the title vested is Jane Landers. Yes, we can agree that it shows more than that, but for short, I'll say Jane Landers. Is that all right? Yes. At the time that the preliminary report was made, were you aware of any facts that suggested to you that you were showing an incorrect owner? No. At some time after that, did you become aware of any facts that suggested to you that you showed an incorrect owner on the preliminary title report? Yes. When did you become aware of that? I don't have a specific date as to when that happened, but it had been made. It has been made known to me that a mistake had possibly been made. Can you give me a month? Well, probably March of 2010. All right, how specifically did you find out that a mistake possibly had been made? I have asked the witness not to reveal substances of conversations he may have had with his attorney. Okay, but other than any other conversations as to that, please feel free to answer. Are you including the in-house counsel? At this time, I will include the in-house counsel. I have no reason to believe they should be excluded. I believe there are other conversations about which you may make in discovery. Okay, so excluding conversations with your attorney, how were you made aware that a possible mistake existed? I don't know, really. So that's the end of that one. It ended abruptly. Let's see, how are we doing? 5:56. All right, let's go ahead and do some read back. I'll read this one time at 225 and then again at 200 and then again at 180, okay? And you guys are going to hear handcuffed, observed, unexpended, weapon, pickup, pickup truck, Mr. Miller, at any time, at that time, shot shell, Mr. Watson, I think I said unexpended shot. All right, that's about it. And this is going to be plaintiff questioning. Okay, all right, here we go. First time at 225. Ready? Does that appear to be the unexpended shot shell that Mr. Miller showed you when he returned from the bed of the pickup truck? Yes, sir, it is. At any time were these items shown to Mr. Watson? Yes, sir, they were. And when were they shown to Mr. Watson? I believe after we handcuffed Mr. Watson, he then observed the weapon and the shot shell. Did Mr. Watson say anything about the weapon at that time? At that time, he stated that if he knew that he had that shell left, that he would have used that one too. Did Mr. Watson say anything about the weapon at that time? I don't believe he said anything about the weapon at that time. Now, did Mr. Watson say anything about the unexpended shot shell at that time? Yes, he did. And what did he say in that respect? As I stated, he said that if he had known that he had that shell left, he would have used that one also. Did Mr. Watson say where he was going when you stopped him? Yes, sir. Where did he say he was going? He stated that he was going back home to get some more shells to come back and shoot some more. Did you notice anything unusual about Mr. Wilson? Yes, I did. I'm going to read that again at 225 because I really screwed up there, okay? So just disregard that one, okay? All right, here we go. So do this at 225 again. Does that appear to be the unexpended shot shell that Mr. Miller showed you when he returned from the bed of the pickup truck? Yes, sir, it is. At any time were these items shown to Mr. Watson? Yes, sir, they were. And when were they shown to Mr. Watson? I believe after we handcuffed Mr. Watson, he then observed the weapon and the shot shell. Did Mr. Watson say anything about the weapon at that time? At that time, he stated that if he knew that he had that shell left, that he would have used that one too. Did Mr. Watson say anything about the weapon at that time? I don't believe he said anything about the weapon at that time. Now, did Mr. Watson say anything about the unexpended shot shell at that time? Yes, he did. And what did he say in that respect? As I stated, he said that if he had known that he had that shell left, he would have used that one also. Did Mr. Watson say where he was going when you stopped him? Yes, sir. Where did he say he was going? He stated that he was going back home to get more shells to come back and shoot some more. Did you notice anything unusual about Mr. Wilson? Yes, I did. Okay, that was better. All right, so we'll do that again at 200. Okay, here we go. Does that appear to be the unexpended shot shell that Mr. Miller showed you when he returned from the bed of the pickup truck? Yes, sir, it is. At any time were these items shown to Mr. Watson? Yes, sir, they were. And when were they shown to Mr. Watson? I believe after we handcuffed Mr. Watson, he then observed the weapon and the shot shell. Did Mr. Watson say anything about the weapon at that time? At that time, he stated that if he knew that he had that shell left, that he would have used that one too. Did Mr. Watson say anything about the weapon at that time? I don't believe he said anything about the weapon at that time. Now, did Mr. Watson say anything about the unexpended shot shell at that time? Yes, he did. And what did he say in that respect? As I stated, he said that if he had known that he had that shell left, he would have used that one also. Did Mr. Watson say where he was going when you stopped him? Yes, sir. Where did he say he was going? He stated that he was going back home to get more shells to come back and shoot some more. Did you notice anything unusual about Mr. Wilson? Yes, I did. All right, so we'll do that one more time at 180. Here we go. Does that appear to be the unexpended shot shell that Mr. Miller showed you when he returned from the bed of the pickup truck? Yes, sir, it is. At any time were these items shown to Mr. Watson? Yes, sir, they were. And when were they shown to Mr. Watson? I believe after we handcuffed Mr. Watson, he then observed the weapon and the shot shell. Did Mr. Watson say anything about the weapon at that time? At that time, he stated that if he knew that he had that shell left, that he would have used that one too. Did Mr. Watson say anything about the weapon at that time? I don't believe he said anything about the weapon at that time. Now, did Mr. Watson say anything about the unexpended shot shell at that time? Yes, he did. And what did he say in that respect? As I stated, he said that if he had known that he had that shell left, he would have used that one also. Did Mr. Watson say where he was going when you stopped him? Yes, sir. Where did he say he was going? He stated that he was going back home to get some more shells to come back and shoot some more. Did you notice anything unusual about Mr. Wilson? Yes, I did. All right. How was that?
Okay, for me.
Good. Is that okay? Nora, how's your machine doing?
I struggled a little bit. It with the higher speeds. I guess I've developed kind of like a lighter touch on the Genesis. So with the higher speeds, I'm not really hitting the keys right. So I'm leaving out a lot of stuff. But
yeah, and I'm sure that makes sense. In the higher speeds, you're used to that lighter touch. So, you know, and I'm sure you could make that machine if you had that for any period of time, you can make that machine have a lighter touch. So, you know, I don't know if Pandora knows how to do that. I know Robert does, but you could always ask her and then just move it back after you give it back to her, you know? So, especially if you're used to that. Some people like to really push harder and other people like it real light. So it's just a preference. So I would definitely talk to her about that. And then she says, yeah, go ahead. I mean, she can always move it back, you know, and then talk to Robert and he can tell you exactly what he recommends and then see where it's at from there. So, all right. Well, it's totally up to you. You don't have to read back with us if you don't want to. If you want to just follow along, it's totally your call.
Let's see.
You want to just see how you do? And like I can start off and then Catherine and then we can go to you.
Yeah, I guess I'll try it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll take the first one. So question, does that appear to be the unexpended shot shell that Mr. Miller showed you when he returned from the bed of the pickup truck? Answer, yes, sir, it is.
Question, at any time were these items shown to Mr. Watson? Answer, yes, sir, they were.
Awesome.
Okay. Question, and when were they shown to Mr. Watson? Answer, I believe after we handcuffed Mr. Watson, he then observed the weapon, something, the shot shell.
That's okay. And the
And the shot shell. Okay.
awesome. Question, did Mr. Watson say anything about the weapon at that time? Answer, at that time, he stated that if he knew that he had that shell left, that he would have used that one too.
Question, did Mr. Watson say anything about the weapon at that time? Is that right? That's the same exact question. Okay.
Yep, it is. Yep.
Answer, I don't believe he said anything about the weapon at that time.
Awesome.
Oh, question. Now, did Mr. Watson say anything about the unexpended shot shell at that time? Answer, yes, he did.
Awesome. Question, and what did he say in that respect? Answer, as I stated, he said that if he had known that he had that shell left, he would have used that one also.
Question, did Mr. Watson say where he was going when you stopped him? Answer, yes, sir.
Awesome.
Question, where did he say that he was going? Answer, back home to get some more shells to come back and shoot some more.
Okay, so on the question, it's just where did he say he was going? I don't think I said that. I think it's just where did he say he was going? And then answer, he stated that he was going back home.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You have it?
No, I made a pretty big mess over here.
That's okay, no worries. And then to get some more shells to come back and shoot some more. And then question, did you notice anything unusual about Mr. Wilson? Answer, yes, I did. So great job. Great job. And that's, it's good you have time to get used to that machine because it's everybody's machine's different. Even machines that are the same brand, they're all different. So don't get discouraged, and you did great.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm gonna hopefully, because I'm really hoping to get done by the end of March. So I think there should be enough time to get accustomed to this.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, if you really feel like the touch is just too, you're having to push too hard, then just talk to Pandora and ask her if she would mind that you, just made some, just made the touch a little bit lighter, and then talk to Robert. He can help you out. She's got the wave, right? Student wave.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I have the stenograph, or otherwise I have a different one. I don't have the wave, so otherwise I would help you, but I know it's not a big deal. So, all right. Well, you guys have a great evening, and will you guys be able to attend on Friday morning?
I will. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Vicky said that she might have something, like she might have a deposition on Friday, but you have to wait until tomorrow to see if it's going. So.
Oh, good. I hope it goes. You'll have to let me know. Yes. Well, good luck if you go. Let me know. I hope it does work out so you can get your hours.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys have a great evening, and then hopefully I see you on Friday. If not, I know why. I know you'll be sitting out.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yes. All right. All right. Bye, Catherine. Bye, Nora.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.